And we are live. What's up, everyone? Let me know if you can hear me well. Speak to me in the chat. Say hello, come on, don't be shy. Hello, Vis, hello, DHC, and hello, the rest of you, which are like 15 right now. Hello, Rodney, hello, Sahil. Okay, so guys, what I want to show you today is my setup for actually doing my projects in cybersecurity, that is the research in cybersecurity, my penetration testing, and when I do have time, bug bounty hunting as well, which I mostly do on CNAC and external programs. But this is for external programs because when it comes to CNAC, I usually test from my Kali Linux. And when it comes to maybe in future sessions or just a little bit today, I'm gonna show you how fast this thing is, and we'll pick a program from one of the platforms, a large scope program, or so to speak. And I'm also using this setup in my machine learning projects, which I've been doing a lot. Recently, I've been focusing on GPT-3, which I have here. Someone gave me access to their account, to their GPT-3 account, and I also am playing with the transformers, which are machine learning models, language models, natural language processing models that are extremely helpful when it comes to a lot of stuff, such as question answering, summarization, text classification, text generation, and all this interesting and extremely exciting stuff. And one of the models that I'm working with is the GPT Neo from Eleuther AI, and I've been building applications, web applications with Streamlit and with Hugging Faces or Hugging Face. And I'm doing lives on the other channels, so on the World of X. So World of X on this channel. So you might wanna subscribe. Now, what I want to say is that this setup is actually helping me a lot, and if you're interested, I think there's a link in the description for $10 credit to get you started on Paperspace here. So Paperspace is one of the lesser known providers. I mean, I get the feeling that not many people know of Paperspace compared to the almighty Amazon web services, with compared to Google, compared to what else is there, Azure, and some other DigitalOcean, some other providers. But Paperspace actually have really good plans, which is why I'm actually opting for them, because I like the fact that you can pay per hour. And when it comes to, they have a prorated, and I just understood yesterday what a prorated means. So let's actually go here and create a machine and show you what I'm talking about. Now, you have options when it comes to choosing the region that you want to do the machines. So let me just pause here for a little bit. So guys, if you have questions, I may leave a couple of minutes for the end of the session to actually answer your questions. So make sure to just ask them here in the chats. Okay? You're right. Now, back to what I was saying. Where was I? Back to pen testing and machine learning. So you can select from 3 regions here. And I have to hold my idea when it comes to Jupyter notebooks, because I'm gonna discuss about that in a minute as well. So they have a lot of stuff that you can play with. They have an ML platform, machine learning platform, and they also have virtual servers. When it comes to the machine learning platforms, You get to be you have access to notebooks. You can create GPU powered notebooks for free, and some of them are already optimized for natural language processing and transformers. Therefore, you have a runtime here, and you can select free CPU, or you can even select free GPU somewhere around here. Yeah, so you have a B5000 GPU, which is decent. So this is a very good alternative for someone who doesn't like Google Cloud. Though Google Cloud is doing fine, but I love the fact that I also have alternatives. So you can create notebooks, you can work on projects here. I haven't explored this space. There's also data sets. I'm not sure what this is all about. And there's also clusters, whatever they are. But back to the core, to the virtual VPS stuff. Back to creating a machine, like I said, you can select a region. In this case right now I'm in Europe, so I'm gonna select Amsterdam, and then it's already picked here. You can do Windows, Linux, public templates, whatever they are. Machine learning in a box, fast AI, and custom templates. This is probably where you define your own custom templates. Now, the one that I'm having right now, it's a Linux template, Ubuntu 18.04, and then you can select here monthly or hourly. And I like to select hourly. And look, you can go as freakingly as cheap as this. Like, it's the 20th part. It's less than a cent. So this is actually half a cent per hour, plus the 5 monthly storage for one CPU of 512. So this is dirt cheap. So if you would be having this, let me start. So pardon the background noise, but I'm with the window open because I like fresh air. So you'll have to put up with that. Let's calculate this. So one day has 24 hours. 24 hours times 31 days, it's 744 times 0.0045 per hour equals $3.3 per month to have this running all time. It's one CPU, 50 gigs, and then you have the 5 monthly storage. So in this case you would have, what was it, 3.3 plus 5, it's 8.3 per month. And then if you want to have an IP attached to it, let's say that you will be running a server, that's gonna be $2 more. So plus 2, it's like $10 a month. It's extremely freaking cheap. But of course, I don't think that most of you will choose this one CPU. Maybe this is like twice as expensive, but still it's extremely cheap. To be honest, the one that I started with, I think, was the C6, which has 8 CPU, 60 gigs of RAM, and I think that last year, or yeah, it was that I paid because it doesn't run. I don't actually. The reason that I'm choosing the hourly is because I don't often let it run. I very seldomly or very rarely let it run for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I mostly use it for, I don't know, a couple of hours a day, a couple of days a week. So the most that I've paid was like, I don't know, $30 or $40 a month. And this was a really powerful one, 16 gigs of RAM and 50 gigs SSD. But right now, I've asked them, because when you start out, you don't have these GPU powered types of servers unlocked. So I've asked them to unlock these two for me because I'm going to use them. I need the GPU because I'm using them in the machine learning projects. So right now I'm using this one. So I have a P4000 which is up and running, and I let it run for a couple of hours a day. So of course this is a little bit more expensive, which is like half a dollar per hour, so it's 50 cents per hour, but this is very powerful. It has 30 freaking gigs of RAM, and it has a dedicated GPU with, I think it's 18 or 16 gigs of RAM. So this runs really well with the transformer models, especially, I mean, I can run this model, like, let's say for example I want to generate an entire originally written blog post of 500 words on whatever subject I want, and I'm discussing this on the other channel, so make sure you, if you're interested, go ahead and subscribe. I can actually generate an entire 500 word or 600 word blog post, entirely original, coherent, and I've actually did that. So if you look onto my blog, and it's like, it takes a couple of minutes, maybe 4 to 5 minutes. So this blog, How CRISPR Will Change the World, guest post by AI, this was actually written by GPT Neo. So this is my introduction, and this is it. So I have only gave it the headline, and it not only completed the title, so the new world of gene editing, but then it started to write this. So this is what it came up with. It's extremely coherent. It's like scarily coherent, and I don't think you can tell, and I don't think anyone can tell that this was written by a natural language processing model. Okay, what's up guys? So let's just keep rolling. Yeah, as I said, if you have questions, make sure to leave them in the chats. So I was saying that I have this one, and it's like very powerful. So that's the whole idea. And of course you have even more powerful ones if this doesn't fit my needs, but right now it fits my needs because the GPT Neo is one of the largest learning models that are out there. I think this is 10 gigs, the 2.7 billion parameters, and it's very accurate, and it's like 10 gigs. So the PyTorch model is 10 gigs. And maybe for that I would be choosing the 78 cents per hour, but of course you have the most powerful one that is open to me right now is this one, which has 16 CPU and probably a much better GPU. And then of course if I would want, I would get the RTX, not the RTX. The RTX is cheaper. Maybe this one, the Tesla V100. I don't know. I would actually compare this with some. If I were to go for a higher price, I would compare this. But like I said, probably the sole reason that I'm actually choosing Paperspace over other providers is the fact that I can choose to use it per hour. And what's even more interesting, if I create a machine on April 10 and then I destroy the machine, so a machine has to have a $5 monthly storage attached to it, and I use it, so let's say I create P4000 and I use it for 5 days. They're not going to charge me for the entire $5. They're going to divide $5 into 30 and then multiply by 5 if I use it for 5 days. So that's actually prorated rent. That's what it's called. So it would be fair. Let's say that I use it for 10 hours. So that's $5 for 10 hours in 5 days. That's $5. So let's do the back of the envelope calculation here. If I have this one, let's say it's 50 cents plus 5 storage per month plus $2 the IP if I want to have it on IP. Now this would be a total of $7.5, not $7.5. Let's say it's 50 cents per hour. Let's say I use it for 10 hours over the span of 5 days. That means 0.5 times 10 plus $5 divided by 31 days times 5 days that I'm using it plus $2 divided by 31 times 5 days. And that's actually going to be equal to $5. So $5 plus whatever this is. So 5 divided by 31, maybe this is 16 cents times 5, 90 cents. Probably, so 0.9 plus whatever this is, which is extremely low, maybe 5 cents. So this would be a total of $6.4 for a usage of 10 hours in 5 days. So yeah, I like they're transparent and they only charge you for what you're using. So that's the basic idea. Now, the server that I've selected is this one. Okay. And then I've also selected the image, the location closest to me, and then you can choose the storage. So 100 gigs is 7 a month, so very little difference. Then you give a name to the machine. You choose, I choose the default network, and I don't need auto shutdown or auto snapshot, but you can do an auto snapshot, and this is incur extra costs. I'm not sure how much that is. And then if you want to have a public IP, so that would be, if I created storage cost and then the IP, it's gonna be another $2. So right now, total bill now would be 0. Hourly cost, storage cost, you have the tax, and then you also have the IP, which doesn't seem to appear here, but it's gonna appear probably on the billing. And then you would just have to create your machine, but I've already have a machine created here. So once you create your machine and launch it, if I just start the machine, as you can see, you have snapshots, templates, logs. Then I can simply access it. So once your machine is created, they're going to send you an email with the credentials, with the SSH credentials, the password, which I highly recommend you to change it, even though it's a strong password, but I think it's auto-generated. It's going to send you an email with the credentials, and then you can just log in using your whatever SSH client that you want. Now in this case I'm using, I think this is Solar Putty, which is much better than Putty, and it's a free alternative on Windows. And of course it actually has the credentials, so it's gonna automatically log in. It says on ready, but it's gonna take a little while, maybe 1 or 2 minutes until it's up and running. So yeah, I'm in. Okay. So far, so good. So it's surprising that you fellas have no questions. But anyway, I'm gonna keep on. So yeah, I actually like this this Solar Putty. because I can simply just open up another instance and another one and another one, and I have all of them there. Whatever, so I'm just gonna leave 2 of them open. Now when I usually create one of these machines, I actually have an archive with all my tools and all my custom scripts that I just download into the machine, and then it's like it takes me 5 minutes, and I can just when it comes to cybersecurity and penetration testing, I can just start running or start hunting. So it's all in it's all in here. It's all in here in the tools, and then I have I usually install Go. What else? I usually install Go, so the only things that I have to install is Go, other than taking my tools, and I also do some nuclei for some of the targets. I install Go, and then maybe a higher version of Python. Like for example, in this case, I have the Python 3.8, which is bound by an alias, or yeah, because the machine comes pre-installed with Python 3.6, I guess 3.6.9, and then I 3.6, and then I installed Python 3.8, and I bind it with I'm binding the alias of Python 3.8 with Python using the alias command into the bash rc. So I set up an alias in bash rc for Python, and that actually is much easier. And then of course I have the tools, and when it comes to machine learning, I just pip install. I also bind pip3 to pip with the alias, and then I only pip install Streamlit in this case to actually build web applications with Python, and then transformers for the natural language processing models from Hugging Face. And that's it. It's like it takes a total of maybe 10 to 15 minutes until everything is into the machine, and I could just simply start subfinder -d tesla.com, and for subfinder I have my API keys into the it's in the root config subfinder, and here this is where I have my API keys for subfinder. I have like a couple of them. I have API keys for security trails, for binary edge, for GitHub. I think I have for chaos as well, for Shodan. Yeah, that's about the ones that I have installed, that I have set up with subfinder. And I also have another tool which is for subdomain enumeration. And I just use this because this includes subfinder with all the keys. This also includes find domain, includes asset finder, and I'm not going to share the script. What else? The script actually runs them, and then it additionally checks for the ones that are alive, and it has them in a file. But right now I've made the script because I'm actually testing stuff, and I've actually disabled the probing for the ones that are alive, and I'm actually checking that manually. So if I run subenum on tesla.com, I think they wouldn't mind. It's gonna start with find domain, asset finder, subfinder, and then it's done. And if I look in here, it's going to be tesla.com subs.txt. If I want to check how many lines, we have 754. And of course, now what I would do, since this may be probed, some of them might be probed by subfinder, but the ones that and the ones found by find domain, they are also probed, but the ones found by asset finder, I don't think they're probed. I'm not actually sure. And that there is also buffer overrun, and I think it's cert sh as well. But what I would do now is to do the Tesla and then maybe HTTP probe with let's say 100 concurrent threads, and this is going to be extremely fast. Yeah. A lot of stuff in here, and all of these are up and running. And I've noticed that security trails do a very good job when it comes to finding more of the subdomains. But now Pretty Recon, the folks at Pretty Recon told me that they're doing a better job than security trails, but I don't know. I'll actually have to test that. And there's also another script that I have which is based on HTTPX, and I've called it HTTPX. And what this is, actually, it's also probing with a few parameters and flags. And I've actually simplified it because I don't want to write all the parameters every time I'm actually running it. So it's gonna do kind of the same thing. And sometimes it's a bit slower. But it's gonna give me the content length, it's gonna give me the status code, it's gonna give me the title, the virtual host, whether or not it's a virtual host, it's gonna give me the IP. What else? Yeah, that's kind of what it gives me. Okay, fellas, so I'm gonna be here for another like 7 or 8 more minutes. Right now, it has been 30 minutes. If you guys like this kind of stuff, maybe I'll do some. Maybe I'll do. If you have questions, just post them in the chats, and I'm gonna answer them in right now. But maybe in future live streams, I'm gonna do a little bit of pen testing on some of these. Wide scope targets. Like, for example, if we have, let's take one from here, and HTTPX didn't do a good job because it only found just a few of them. I usually run this like a few times. Let's say we have for example, assetsengage.tesla.com or apps.tesla.com, this one, Tesla Mobile App Store, or what else? Which one looks more interesting? Mobile.tesla.com. So as you can see, HTTPX is giving many more results right now, which is why I want to cross check. I usually want to cross check HTTP probe with HTTPX, and there are a couple of other tools that I use for testing whether or not targets are live when it comes to web penetration testing, because when it comes to network penetration testing, it's a whole different level of game there. Let's take one of them from here. Tesla Tequila. Let's take this one. So for example, I would do pen testing on Tesla and I would see that this looks interesting to me. What I would do next is to run Faff. Now for Faff, I also have a script that actually simplifies everything. So I'm only doing Faff, and I have multiple versions of Faff. If I want to do a smaller word list, then I'm gonna use Faff small. If I want to look with a higher word list, I have Faff big, and I also have with the highest one, which is a couple of million words, is Faff huge. But I usually Faff small is often enough, and then I only need to paste the target. Of course, you can pause and add filters as it runs. This is I'm not sure if this is already released, but this is actually in the Faff exclusive. So I've actually supported this. I've supported the developer to get access. I've sponsored the developer to get access to a pre-release for Faff exclusive, which lets you pause in between scans. So while the scan is running, and you can add you can add filters while it's running, and you can do all sorts of stuff, and then you can resume with the filters. And as you can see, this is how fast the web server is when it comes to checking. As you can see, it's freaking like spamming poor Tesla Tequila here. If I would do Faff big on the same target, now with 20 lines, maybe we get different results. And as you can see here, I have the word list. In this case, it's a modified version of Content Discovery All. And in the other case, it's a shorter version of 43,000 words. This one is, does it say? Yeah, 983,000 words. It's probably gonna take like maybe 2 or 3 minutes to go through it all. So yeah, I often have very good findings just by doing the very basic recon, but in this case you have to keep in mind that I'm using a custom word list. I'm using this Faff modified with as I've told you in one of my tweets, this is a very good trick to set the localhost as a header, because sometimes it might respond differently compared to a plain old request without a modified header. And I'm also using the subdomain enumeration with API keys, and the security trails, binary edge, I'm paying for those. So this is actually investing in into my job, into part of my job, into part of what I do. It's an investment in myself. So it's like I don't see it like as an expense. I see it as an investment. So I'm just gonna stop this. And of course, then I also have the pretty recon. And these guys said that they've done a better job when it comes to subdomains. So they have 158 subdomains for Tesla. And how many of them did I get? Let's actually see how many of them are Is this more than 158? Tricky question. Of course, maybe some of them are related to Tesla, but most of them have Tesla.com, so they are subdomains of Tesla. Now let's see how many we get. It's probably gonna finish here. 800 freaking 30. And Pretty Recon 158. So yeah. Need I say more? Okay, so guys, if you do not have any other freaking questions, I am going to freaking leave. So I'm going to stay here for another 1 or 2 minutes to give you time to ask questions, not beginner oriented. Otherwise, I'm gonna call this a night. And once again, if you want to enjoy the other, if you want to join the other, my other channel, where it's probably tomorrow night, I'm gonna do a probably do a live stream on the World of X channel. Just go there, look for World of X. World of X. I'm gonna do a live stream probably tomorrow night. Maybe on the Hugging Faces on the GPT Neo, or maybe on the OpenAI, the playground here. Let's do once upon. Let's actually do something here. Question and answer. Question. Best cyber security career. Okay. How to be a pen tester. This is a noob question. So it's not doing a very good job, and it's actually using its most sophisticated engine, which is DaVinci. Let's try another question. You guys come up with a question here. Artificial intelligence. Right now, I wouldn't read books. I would actually do a course. I do not use Axiom, but we'll talk about artificial intelligence on my other channel. So on World of X. Give me one question that you want me to ask GPT-3, which has been trained on 40 terabytes, supposedly 40 terabytes of data, and it has how many parameters? 175 billion parameters that's been trained on, and it's not able to answer a basic question. How to lose weight. Now we probably want to play with some of these parameters. Temperature is a good parameter to play with. If it's like greater, it's gonna give you more random results. There's also the frequency penalty that you can play with, and the response length. Let's do 300 words. Let's actually ask questions. Top 10 ways Let's ask something specific to cybersecurity. I don't use ANU. I have other methods of removing duplicates. Let's ask interesting. If I ask by who, let's see if it has context. Roy Levin. And if then I would ask he was able to get root access to the computer. And then if I say what was the computer he got access to? Interesting, PDP-8. If I ask what are the details of his hack, how did he do it? Jeez. He ran through the various instructions the computer would accept using the command monitor. Eventually, he found a command that would allow him to read arbitrary memory locations. He then proceeded to list memory contents until he found the address. So this was sort of like interesting reverse engineering. This allowed him to run arbitrary commands. Wow, I'm gonna play more with this stuff. So this was only the Q&A stuff, but you have other types of things that you can do with GPT-3, and we'll get into them in the live stream on the World of X tomorrow. So you can do chat, summarize for a 2 grader, classification, advanced tweet, factual answering, JavaScript to Python, interesting. Anyways, that should be all for today. Thank you guys for being here. You also have the Discord. If you want to get on Discord, you have the link to the Discord. You also have the link to Paperspace. You get I think you get $10 credit if you join with this affiliate code. Feel free not to use my affiliate code, but I don't think you're gonna get the credit. And yeah, I'm not gonna plug in any other stuff in here. So this is the Discord. If you want to join, hit me up on Twitter if you want to talk about non-beginner cybersecurity stuff. All right, till next time.